Hey YouTube, Roku here, back with a DD combo tutorial for you guys. This will be a little more in-depth than a usual combo tutorial, just because it's DDs and it's kind of a complicated deck. So I don't want to take too long in this intro part. I'll be showing off one card Kepler, so what Kepler can do on its own, what Gate can do on its own, Swirl Slime plus Kepler, so what Kepler plus the extender of Swirl Slime can do, and then a combo that is two of any of these cards except for Kepler Gate. I'll explain that when I get to it, but pretty much any combination of these two besides these two does kind of your fullest of combos for two-card combos. The only other thing that I'm going to throw out there is that I have changed the deck slightly since the profile. The Oracle King Dark does come up in certain combo lines to synchro with your Lamia into your Siegfried to have more Siegfrieds on your board, which Siegfried is a super good interruption to have, so I figured I would replace this with the Dispotter, because Dispotter didn't really come up in testing hardly at all. It was just kind of a flex spot, so I replaced that with Dark. And then one Ragnarok and one Patent License, because they do come up in certain combo lines. I did really debate putting Ragnarok in. I wasn't thinking too hard on Patent License, but I saw a few lines that it really helps to have these available, so I did just put these in. I did not take anything out for these, I just put them in, so now the deck just went from, I believe, 43 to 55 or 45. So now it's just a couple extra cards, but Ragnarok and Patent License, very good combo pieces, especially Ragnarok to get an extra reborn without using one of your fusion effects. Super good. But without further ado, I think let's just get into it. And I think I will start with our Kepler combo. So what we do to start, this is kind of going to be a little bit of a mess because a lot of these use similar engine pieces, so I'll be mixing these around a little bit. But we'll start with our Kepler combo. So we just start with our Kepler, normal summon, search ourselves up a Gate, Dark Contract with the Gate, activate, search us a Griffin. And then Griffin, with its effect in hand, special summon itself, and then link these into the most powerful card in the deck, Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh effect, to set scales from your deck, you can grab here Zero King Rage and Cerberus. This is why you play these two for the Kepler combo. If there was any other better zero scale, it'd be great. I don't mind having the Cerberus because if you draw it, then it's just another 4, so you can grab different scales, Pendulum Summon the Griffin and the Cerberus, and then have your rank 4 anyway. But this is not my favorite, but you gotta play it because then you can Pendulum Summon both out. So you do that. Cerberus can make your Kepler a level 4, so you can then overlay into a Wave King Caesar. Then you don't actually go into Tell here, you just link these two into a second Gilgamesh, triggering our Caesar to search for a Swamp King, activating Swamp King, and fusing into a Genghis with our Gilgamesh and Kepler, making our little Genghis. And then we just turn our Gilgamesh into a Machinex, triggering the Genghis to special summon from our graveyard our Griffin, which then gets to search a DD card, that being our trap card. So with just a Kepler, we can get to a Machinex with 4 activations because it can destroy 1, attach, detach 2, attach, destroy 1, attach, detach 2, attach. So a 4 activation Machinex and a DDD Headhunt to negate and steal an opponent's monster. Super good interactions off of just a 1-card combo. So yeah, that is kind of our basic, kind of our baseline for what the rest of the combos will look like. Then I suppose we'll get into the next one. Next one I'll do is just the gate combo, because that one's fairly similar. So I'll just take these there, and then we'll start with our gate combo. So gate, obviously we just activate Searcher DD. This will search us our Copernicus, because then we can just normal summon this, effect to send a DD to the graveyard, sending our Lamia, destroying our gate to special summon itself with its effect, and then linking these two into our Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh effect can then grab us a Griffin and a Thomas. So that way we can Pendulum Summon our Copernicus, Griffin effect to give something an attack increase for our gate, and then Thomas can add Griffin back to our hand, and then our Griffin can use its effect in the hand to special summon itself. And there we have a rank 4. So then we just do that, make our Caesar, link off again, and then we're pretty much the same from here. Caesar effect, search for our Swamp King, activate our Swamp King, banishing our Gilgamesh and our Copernicus, summoning out our Genghis, overlay into our Machinex, Genghis effect to grab our Griffin, which we then summon and search us a trap card. So the gate combo is just slightly less than the Kepler, because we have to destroy the gate, so we only have one contract for our Machinex, but that's still a 2 activation Machinex, plus a negate and steal with Headhunt, which is still a very good end board off of just 1 card. So the fact the deck has 2 1-card starters is still pretty good in my opinion, especially to put 3 and 5 interruptions respectively is pretty good. So then I think that's all of that. So then let's get into the next one. I'm trying to rush this along kind of, just because these combos are a little convoluted, so I don't want to be here for too long. I want to get you guys a reasonably lengthed video. But yeah, let's get to our Kepler and Swirl Slime. And here's where it kind of shows off that various hands in the deck can do wildly different things. Not every hand is super linear. The Gate and Kepler combos are fairly linear with each other, but for this you see that depending on what you draw, you can have wildly different lines to get to even better end boards. So what we'll do with this, we'll start with our normal summon of our Kepler to search us a Gate, Gate effect to search us a Griffin, looks pretty familiar, special summon our Griffin, and link summon. And here is where it changes quite a bit actually. Gilgamesh effect to set scales will actually get us our Thomas and our Ragnarok. So that is where this comes in. This is actually a very strange scale to set, seeing as it's 5 and 6, so we don't have a Pendulum Summon now. So you might think that's kind of wonky, but it will work out just fine. We will use our Thomas effect to grab our Griffin to our hand. Then we can use our Swirl Slime, discarding itself and the Griffin to summon our first Genghis. So then, with that, we can trigger our Ragnarok to special summon back our Griffin. Get it out here. Griffin effect will not be searching the trap this time around. It will instead search us our Copernicus. And then our Swirl Slime in the graveyard can use its effect to banish itself and special summon our Copernicus. So that is how we get to our rank 4 this way. Then our Copernicus can use its effect, sending a Necro Slime to the graveyard. Then we overlay into our rank 4, into our Caesar, and I believe that is all we do. Not into our Tell quite yet. We can just link these into a second Gilgamesh. That can trigger our Wave King in the graveyard to search us our contract with the Swamp King. Then we can use our Necro Slime in the graveyard before our Swamp King. Necro Slime to banish itself, and a Gilgamesh to make a second Genghis. At this point, that will trigger our first Genghis to special summon back our Caesar. So then, once we get there, then we can overlay on top of our Caesar our Marksman King Tell. It is a lot of steps. Definitely want to stop kind of midway explaining that this is very non-linear and that it definitely just takes a lot of practice to learn all these lines, to know when to make Tell, when to just use Caesar, and when to grab certain things to your graveyard or to your hand. It just takes a lot of practice. So this is just kind of a stepping in point to know a couple 1 and 2 card combos. I just thought I'd stop kind of mid combo here, let you guys breathe for a second. But yeah, so then from this point we have our Swamp King that we can activate and then use it to fusion summon using our Tell on the field. Wait, before we do that, I do forget this often, and I need to not Tell effect, because when our Gilgamesh sets scales, it burns us for 1,000. So Tell can detach 1 to reduce the attack of something by 1,000 and inflict 1,000 to your opponent. That way, you're not going into time and being down 1,000 all of a sudden, and then Tell makes it so you're still even on life points. Then after that, we can Swamp King, fuse with our Tell and our Copernicus from the graveyard, and then that will put us into our Oracle King. Tell effect, when it is sent to the graveyard, can send our Lamia to the graveyard, and then from here we can overlay our Genghises into a High King Caesar. Our Lamia can destroy. I usually like to destroy Ragnarok, just because then we leave our Thomas with a Kepler in the extra deck to grab for a follow-up. So destroy our Ragnarok, special summon Lamia, and D'Arc synchro summon into our Siegfried, so that we get to end on that for this board, because Siegfried is very good to have. And then we can just turn our Gilgamesh into a Machinex. So then that combo, Kepler normally would just get a Machinex and a trap card, versus this board from Kepler and a Swirl Slime with just 1 extra extender gets us to a Machinex plus a Siegfried and a Caesar, with Thomas for Kepler follow-up and 2 gates here. So that is 4 interruptions with the Machinex, 5, 6 from the Caesar, and a 7th from the Siegfried. So that is 7 interruptions off of just the 2 cards of Kepler and Swirl Slime, which is just insane that this deck can just do that, just put out so many interruptions with so few cards. It just takes kind of a lot to kind of play on the fly, remembering that you have so many different options, and especially in a combo like this where we don't use our Pendulum Summon, because we at no point have scales that work for a Pendulum Summon. So even then, setting scales is just grabbing combo pieces and not setting up for a Pendulum Summon even. So combos like this show that this deck is so difficult to learn, but also so rewarding when you get to a point that you kind of understand the lines. Even kind of mid combo here, I was trying to double check with myself that whether I make Caesar or go into Tal. So it definitely takes a long time to get practiced with the deck, but it will happen if you just sit and practice with it. So with that, let's get into this last combo for you guys. This last one is a really cool one because it's pretty much just any two of these four cards, that being our Gate, Kepler, Griffin, or Copernicus. So any one of those can get us, any two of these rather, can get us to a 2-card combo that can just end on so much interruption. So what I was saying before is that Kepler and Gate don't actually work here. You need to get to Copernicus and Griffin specifically. So if you open with Griffin Kepler, then it's normal, activate, search. So then you have these two there. If you have one of these and Gate, then you can just Gate, search for the other one. But if you have Kepler Gate, then you can still only get to one of these. It is still good to have Kepler plus Gate, because that is an extender, and that is another good combo to have, Kepler and Gate, but that's not what I'll be showing off here. I am just going to be showing off the Copernicus Griffin combo. So I'll start just with a Gate and a Griffin, I suppose. So that will be our starting point for this one. Just a reminder, the way that I showed earlier, any of these can get to any of these. But here we'll just activate our Gate, search for our Copernicus, and then we can just normal summon Copernicus. Copernicus effect, sending a Necro Slime, special summoning our Griffin from our hand, and then linking these into our Gilgamesh. Now, we have our 2 level 4s already, so we have kind of a lot of options for Pendulum Scales. And I believe what we do here is grab a Ragnarok, because we just get the free special summon, and we grab, actually, an Orthos. So then we can destroy itself and our Xyz monster without having to use up another Gilgamesh, which is a good resource to still have in your extra deck. So here with our 3 and 5, we can Pendulum Summon these two. Then we can overlay into our Wave King and into our King Tel. We will actually be going into King Tel here and using its effect, as we should try not to forget that, to reduce it by 1,000 and burn our opponent. So then we are both on even life points. Then we can Orthos effect, pop itself in King Tel. Then from there, our King Tel can send our other combo piece that we didn't initially have in the deck, but that makes this combo line accessible, is our Patent License. So with Patent License, when it is sent to the graveyard, you can grab a DD monster from our grave or a Pendulum monster from the extra deck to our hand. So we can grab ourselves an Orthos here. Then, with our Necro Slime that we sent, we can fuse that with itself and probably the Copernicus into our Genghis. And then because we summoned our Genghis, we can use our Ragnarok effect to trigger and special summon our Griffin. Now from here, we have a variety of things that are happening. Our Ragnarok special summon from grave does burn us for 1,000, So we can chainlink one DD Griffin to search a DD card, chainlink two DD Orthos to special summon itself from our hand because we took damage, and chainlink three Flame King Genghis to special summon back, I believe, our Caesar. So we can special our Caesar back with our Genghis, special our Orthos out of our hand, and then Griffin search us for our trap card. So now we've got our Headhunt, and we've got a variety of material. So what we'll do here first is we will synchro these into our Siegfried just to get that out on our board. Then we can use our Caesar and Gilgamesh into a second Gilgamesh. Wave King effect can grab us our Swamp King. And then at this point, we can Swamp King for probably our Gilgamesh and our Wave King to summon out a Genghis. And then from here, all we need to do is overlay into our Wave King and overlay our Gilgamesh into a Machinex. And now this is very similar to the Kepler and Swirl Slime hand. This has the added benefit of having our DDD Headhunt. So this is actually 4, 6, 7, 8 interruptions off of any combination of those two besides Kepler Gate. So many different combinations there can all get us to this 8 interruption end board, which is just wild to think. So yeah, this is kind of how the deck runs. That's the last of the combos. It's definitely a deck that you need to practice a lot with to get comfortable with. It is not something that you can just try to pick up and learn right away. It's something you practice a lot with, you kind of learn on the fly, you draw some test hands, and just kind of see where you go. Look up combo tutorials. Like, mine is absolutely not the only one out there. I know that, what's it called? Master Duel Meta, I believe, has a good combo guide for this deck. But there's so many unexplored lines with this deck. There's so many DD cards that we're not playing that we could be, and those could make a lot different and possibly better combos that we just aren't seeing yet. But that should do it for what I will be doing here. Totally suggest trying out this deck. Super fun learning all the lines. But with that, I think that's all I've got to say about the deck and about the combos. So, this is Rogue Tier, signing out.